oftentimes when I'm looking for the best possible hiking spots, I find answers along the lines of the mountains, or a spruce forest along a babbling creek, a red rock canyon, or the beach, and those sound great and all, but just a tad predictable. So I went to an abandoned minefield instead. Dolly Sods. Originally used to graze sheep, this area was full of life, from elk, bears, and mountain lions, all surrounded by these massive red spruce trees and others. Sounds like a great place to hike, right? Well, yeah, but logging and forest fires had other plans for the area. And then the cherry on top is that it was also used by the military during World War II for artillery and mortar training. Although the trail has been swept for any leftover explosives, the signs out front aren't a lie. They're still here, which is why today my goal is to find one. Well, my secondary goal. Primarily, I'm just here to hike on the trail and mind my own business. But hey, if I do come across one to play with, then it should make for a pretty cool part of the video. We'll see. But for now, I'll stick to hiking. And so far, the trail has been nothing but a delight. A creek to cool off in, and 2 boardwalks in the first couple of hours? Come on, how can it get better than that? They're really treating me out here. For the most part though, this trail was a wide open, dry field of sticks. Very few people were around, and other than the plentiful amounts of bumblebees excited for spring and the occasional hawk flying overhead to check me out, there weren't too many animals either. I was starting to think that the ants were going to be my only friends. But then as I walked past a puddle, I found 2 lizard-looking fellas wrestling below. I think they're red-spotted newts, and I'm not sure why one had the other in a headlock, but they weren't the only 2 in here. And you know, I would have never guessed that this random puddle on the trail would be someone's home or someone's family. And here I was excited about the newts, not knowing that there was something crazier just around the corner. It was a warning. Now you can relax, it's only the sign, it's not the real worm, so I'm not in any actual danger for now, but I think it's here to drive away the weak-willed. And you know, I'd be lying if I said I didn't consider myself calling off the hike. But in hopes to find a bomb, and for you, I pushed through, and quickly came across an area that was just begging to be stopped at. Alright, well, I'm taking a little break here. It's my first one, other than my little salamander encounter, or whatever those little guys were. Super cool, by the way. Love those things. But man, this is beautiful. It's really windy up here, but there's a little rock circle thing here, bigger than this. This is more of a fire pit rock structure. I don't know why, but I may as well refill my water. I drank my first water bottle. I brought 2. My only concern at the moment is burning out in the sun. I was not prepared for this. I'm probably gonna burn. That's just a fact. There are a ton of windmills way out there. You can see everything. I'm not sure what this everything is, but it's a lot. It's a whole lot. It's nice. I'm looking to see if there are any snakes around here. I don't think there are, but I feel like there should be. Maybe there aren't snakes in that one. I imagine at some point I might find a snake. Because it's so warm, it's one of the sunnier days. I guess we'll see. Anyways, that's about it. Just figured I'd give you a little check-in. And I'll hit the trail here in about 4 minutes or so. Sweet. Riveting. Peak entertainment, really. About 5 minutes after that, though, I actually did find a snake. So maybe I'm a prophet. It's kind of hard to say. Or it would have been hard to say if not for the second snake I found, yet another 5 minutes after the first. So yeah, I'm kind of a big deal. Oh, and if you're wondering what types of snakes that they are, well, then you came to the wrong place. The open trails that I had begun to get used to were starting to fade away. Instead of being able to see miles around me, I was barely able to see a foot. Not only that, but the trail was becoming way more difficult to follow. There's honestly a pretty good chance I'm not even on the trail anymore. I mean, look at this random video I took walking through the woods. Does it just want me to go over these piles of rocks? I guess so. It's not like there's a sign saying otherwise, so here I go, up and over. Just stumble on through. Oh, okay, cool, and then what? Left? That doesn't really look like a trail. Right? No? Left? I don't know. I'll just pick one. It doesn't really matter. I don't know where I'm headed. But if I'm gonna find a bomb, this is probably my best bet. So I didn't really think too much about it. I just kept going straight. And soon I found myself back on the trail. back on, meaning that whatever I was hiking through definitely wasn't it. I'm not actually sure how that happened or where I was, but that's behind me now. All I need next is to find a stream to refill my water. This should be pretty smooth sailing. A real classic frog move right there. Why are they always doing that? Not the jumping part, I understand that that's their thing, but why wait till the last second? Either do it early or stand your ground. Stinking little... Anyways, refilling up on water felt great. Not just because it meant I could stay hydrated and all that jazz, but because I could cool myself off. My raincoat isn't because I'm cold, it's to keep the sun from continuing to burn me alive. So even though my skin is now safe, it's getting real hot. Thankfully though, the sun is on its way down. But what this also means is that I've got to start looking for a spot to spend the night. As I continued to follow the creek as it got bigger and bigger, I came across exactly what I had in mind. I spent a good hour passing by campsites when I really should have stopped, but I was looking for the perfect one, and this was it. It wasn't long before I got my tent set up, and with time to spare, I figured I should finally reveal what I've been carrying in my new fanny pack. This is the first trip I've taken it on, and you may be thinking, what could possibly be worth spending $80 on a hiking handbag for? What would be important enough to keep easily accessible for my entire trip? Well, I mean, it's kind of obvious. It's my sandwich. Unfortunately for me, a 6-inch sub only lasts so long, and I had to finish setting the inside of my tent up, which is my least favorite part by far. Only if there was a way to easily inflate my sleeping bag. Oh wait, no, there is! With my Flextail Zero pump. Hot dog, look at that! Literally the world's smallest pump, weighing just over an ounce. Lighter than the pump sack that I used to use, and just barely heavier than this tree frog. Except the frog won't blow up your mattress, he just sits there. For me, it's a no-brainer to add to my pack. I plug it in, let it work its magic for about a minute, and then roll back on over, amazed at the great job that it's done, and pack it away. If you want to grab one for yourself, use code MinnowTank15 for 15% off. Ooh, that's nice. Or you can just click my link below. Alright, well, that's enough fun for now. Let's get back to sitting in a chair all alone in the middle of the woods as it gets dark. Ooh, moody. Oh, hey. Good morning. Whew. Alright. A brand new day. I did about 9.8, about 10 miles yesterday, which means I have about the exact same today ahead of me. It's like 7 or so in the morning. so I'll have plenty of time. And man, it seems like it's gonna be a beautiful day. I just gotta cross this creek here. I've been seeing some crayfish in here, which is pretty cool. But listening to the creek noises all night was super nice. It's very peaceful. I will say though, birds never cease to stop yapping. They just keep going. Anyways, I'm gonna grab some food and hit the trail. After a quick trip to recover my bear box, deflating and packing up my bedding, and topping off my water, it was time to tear down my tent and get the day started. And I kid you not, about 5 minutes after I left my campsite, food bar in hand, enjoying my peaceful morning hike, something massive started making noise in the woods next to me. And it wasn't this deer. This deer was my friend. He was a cool deer. What I heard though was something else. And of course it was one of those sections too thick to see anything, so I have no clue what it was. Plus I didn't stay to find out, I booked it. However, unless there's something else making bear noises in the woods, I have a hunch. But regardless, this morning started out a little bit stressful, and my bear spray stayed in my hand for, well, quite a while. Day 2 was off with a bang. Forget about hiking aimlessly through the woods. There are now large creatures making noise, deer being overly friendly, and bigger snakes than ever before. Well, they're still pretty small, but they're bigger than yesterday's. As the trail got greener, it meant that I was getting closer to the river that flowed nearby. This was great news, because in case you forgot, this rain jacket is because my arms had taken a beating from the sun yesterday, not because I was struggling to stay warm. Trust me, the 80-something degrees of sun was doing that just fine on its own. And this actually brings me to a quick beginner's tip. Here I was thinking I had all the backpacking necessities and could begin to dabble in extras that make my trips easier and more comfortable, such as a chair or my FlexTail pump from earlier. Of course you don't need either of those, it's just a matter of preference. But one thing I now think is a necessity is a sun shirt. Just like I always carry a rain jacket, I'm gonna start carrying a long sleeve sun shirt too, because although my jacket is doing the trick for now, I'm starting to cook. And if it was any hotter out, I'd be a dead man. So yeah, that's gonna be my next addition to the pack. The trail seemed like it was going to stay green for a tad bit longer, which was nice because that meant shade. Or at least that's what I thought was going to happen, but then all of a sudden, Dolly Sods had a change of heart. It was time to return to the world of sticks. I'm not so sure that this section got the memo that it's actually springtime here. But even so, there was a constant gentle breeze keeping me afloat, so I really couldn't complain. I could, however, complain about the increasing number of puddles getting in my way. You may be watching this and thinking to yourself, wow, is he really complaining about those small puddles? What a wimp, he thinks he's a hiker? Okay, fine, no, I hear you, I do. But what about this one? Well, that's the trail, goes right on through, this side to the other. And no, there's no way around. I looked for a while. I guess I have to strip. Okay, I overreacted. I didn't have to strip. And honestly, I really enjoyed this part. I've also carried sandals in my backpack for multiple trips now and never had the chance to use them, but finally, this was the perfect opportunity. Which begs the question, why didn't I? This was the perfect chance, but nah, whatever. At least it made the hike through the next mile of bog much easier. It was still a little unsettling, blindly sinking into mud that was multiple inches deep, but I'm just glad there weren't any dangerous animals lurking in the area. Hey, get out of here, you're ruining my point. Anyways, I'm sure that he was a chill guy, but the shoes were nice to have, even if they did take quite a beating. This pond was beautiful. It looks like a beaver had made its home in the back. To my left, there was a little newt chilling here at the front, just doing their own thing with water bugs waltzing around them. And off to my right, two little noodles swimming around, either looking for a snack or perhaps just out for a stroll. As this was pretty near the end of my hike, this small pond, full of life, felt like my reward. Dolly Sods, West Virginia. 20 miles hiking through an abandoned minefield, exploring various forests, hopping over creeks, hobbling over rocks, and hoping to come back someday. After all, those bombs aren't going to find themselves. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you out there. I'm also realizing that I don't have internet, and I don't know how to get home from here. Nah, I should be fine. Oh, who's this big fella waiting at my car? A snake who attacks people who don't like and subscribe to the channel? That seems a bit extreme.